Have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, the deepest secrets of the universe were hidden in plain sight? Coded into ancient rituals? Well, today we're diving into a really fascinating interpretation of a Vedic fire ceremony that claims to be exactly that, a step-by-step recipe for building a star.
So, the big question we're tackling is, honestly, it's a wild one. Is it really possible that an ancient text isn't just describing a simple ceremony, but is actually laying out the physics of nuclear fusion? That is the incredible claim made by the commentary in the text Vedic Alok, and we're going to break down exactly how it gets there.
All right, so let's start with the ritual that's at the heart of this whole thing. It's an ancient Vedic process, and it's known as Agni Manthan, which basically means fire churning.
Now on the surface, Agni Manthan is about what it sounds like, creating fire or Agni. But the scientific commentary we're digging into here says, hold on, there's way more going on. It argues this isn't about, rubbing two sticks together. It's a symbolic language that's describing the immense pressure and the incredible energy you'd need to kickstart the furnace of a star.
Okay, so every great fire needs a spark to get it going. But in this cosmic recipe, the source of that spark? Well, that presents our first real puzzle.
This is such a crucial point in the text's argument. I mean, think about it. If the whole point is to create Agni, which is fire and sustained energy, why on earth would you start by calling on someone else entirely? Why Savitar? It just seems a little counterintuitive, right? But according to this interpretation, it's the absolute key to the whole process.
The key to cracking this puzzle is understanding their different job descriptions. The commentary explains that Savitar isn't the fire itself, but it's the impulse that creates the fire. It's the initial, powerful electrical charge, the actual act of creation. Agni, on the other hand, is the result of that act, the sustained heat and light you get from the star once it's lit. You've got to have the impulse before you can get the result.
And the commentary really hammers this point home with quotes from ancient texts. It's all about establishing Savitra as that primary creative force, the one who kicks off every process. Without that initial push, there's just nothing for Agni to sustain.
So here's the kicker. The really crucial point, according to Vedic Alok, is that this invocation of Savitra connects directly to a fundamental principle of modern astrophysics. The text argues that to start nuclear fusion, you don't just need heat and pressure, you need a massive initial electrical event to get the whole reaction going. And in this view, the ancient hymn actually encoded that very knowledge.
Okay, you've sparked the cosmic fire. That's fantastic, but now you have a brand new, even bigger problem. How in the world do you stop your new star from just blowing itself apart?
Seriously, think about it. The forces involved in making a star are just unimaginable. A successful star isn't just a giant explosion. It's a perfectly balanced, self-sustaining reaction that has to last for billions of years. And the ritual, according to this source, has a step for that too.
So, the ritual's answer to this huge problem lies in the next hymn, which calls upon Deva Prithivi, or heaven and earth. But in this interpretation, these are not literal places. Nope. They represent a kind of cosmic container, all the fundamental laws, forces, and particles you need to grasp that raw energy of Agni and give it a stable form.
And this is where the scientific commentary gets super specific. It claims this hymn is basically a poetic checklist for stellar equilibrium. It's about achieving that perfect balance of particles like photons and electrons, making sure electrical charges don't spiral out of control, and containing all that energy so it's not too high, but not too low either. Essentially, it's the formula for preventing the star from either fizzling out or tearing itself to pieces. All right, the conditions are set, the cosmic container is stable. Now it's time to turn up the heat and get the main engine running.
This is really the main event of the Agni Manthan. It's a set of 3 hymns, called Atreya, that are all recited to Agni. And according to the commentary in Vedic Alok, these are not just words of praise. They are 3 very distinct operational steps. Step 1, churn up the primordial particles. Step 2, use an intense electrical fire to zap any obstacles out of the way. And finally, Step 3, fully empower the reaction to achieve that self-sustaining fusion.
And just when you think this interpretation can't get any more detailed, it does. What happens if the reaction starts to falter? What if the fusion fails to ignite or it starts to die out? Well, believe it or not, the ritual seems to have a contingency plan for that, a troubleshooting guide for stellar mechanics.
These are called the Rakshohan hymns. Now, literally, that means demon destroying. But in this scientific reading, the demons aren't some mythological creatures. No, they're astrophysical barriers, any elements or conditions that are getting in the way of the nuclear fusion process. These hymns are like a failsafe, designed to clear the path and get that furnace roaring again.
And get this, it's not just a vague, try harder kind of instruction. The commentary points out that the text is incredibly precise. It calls for exactly 9 of these Rakshohan hymns to be recited. This implies a very specific, multi-step troubleshooting process that's designed to overcome any problem and make sure that star is successfully born.
So when you put all of these pieces together, the picture that starts to emerge looks less like a simple religious ceremony and a whole lot more like a highly structured technical manual.
So let's do a quick recap of this whole blueprint. We started with the hymn to Savitur, which the commentary says is the electrical ignition. Then, the hymn to Dhyava Prithvi, which is interpreted as the process of stabilizing all the particles in charges. The main hymns to Agni, well, they represent the core fusion reaction itself. And finally, those Rakshohan hymns act as a failsafe for getting past any fusion barriers. According to this view, every single step of the ritual has a direct one-to-one parallel in astrophysics.
So in the end, what are we supposed to make of all this? Is it a really creative, modern interpretation that just skillfully maps scientific ideas onto beautiful, poetic verse? Or could this ancient ritual actually contain a shockingly sophisticated understanding of the cosmos? A lost science, hidden inside a ceremony for thousands of years? It's definitely a question worth thinking about.